And we're out.
We're in.
And good day.
Hello,
sir. Welcome to Sort of the Story. I'm Janey.
I'm Max.
And we are here to tell each other some stories.
Yeah.
And also, you are here.
Welcome. Thanks for being here, guys.
We're recording this, this is airing later on in January, but we just celebrated Christmas. Both of us, Christmas celebrators.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty Santa hounds.
For Christmas, I made gumbo, and it was and I cleaned the house. And it was great.
She stayed here for Christmas. I played with an Oculus for the first time, and now I'm $400 poorer because I ordered myself an Oculus immediately.
And games.
Not yet with the games.
I thought it was $300.
It's $300, but by the time I'm done, it's going to be $400.
Okay. Whew.
Anyway, cool. That's it. Get an Oculus. It's very fun.
Don't.
Play Beat Saber.
It's a cult.
It's a cult, and we are in it. Okay, so today, Max is going first.
I am.
And we're very excited.
We hope you guys enjoyed our classic fairy tales last time as well.
We enjoyed them.
Yeah, I had a great time. I definitely got weirdly weepy over The Little Mermaid, which I wasn't expecting. So this week, we don't really have any kind of theme going on.
Nope.
So I went with an oldie but a goodie, if you will.
Okay.
This, I don't want to tell you anything about it.
I'm excited
before we get started. So we're just going to jump right in.
blindsided.
I'll tell you about the book and everything after the fact so that I don't ruin the surprise. But so this story is called Maria Morevna. It is a Russian fairy tale. It's a fun one. It's a good one. It has a lot of similarities to the stories that we've told before, but I think it's really fun. Okay, so I'm just going to go on into it. There once was a prince named Prince Ivan.
Good.
His parents died, leaving him and his three sisters orphans. Before they died, they told him, when we die, we want your sisters to be married as quickly as possible. Like, we don't want them hanging around.
How old are his
waiting
sisters?
to be married. They're all, like, adult.
Okay, good.
Ish. It's not established, so I assume they're
So does this make him king now?
No, just prince, as far as I can tell. Don't know why.
Who's the king? Anyway, go ahead.
I have no idea. I don't understand Russian politics, believe it or not. That's not true, actually. I do.
hold
But I
on.
don't understand the Russian monarchy. I had to do a whole project in college on the entirety of the Russian Revolution and present a half-hour presentation in front of a class. And so I read 4 books on the Russian Revolution the night before, and now I know a lot about the Russian Revolution.
It's Max's half-hour special where she's stressed out, like it's her anxiety-ridden.
Yeah. Welcome to my TED Talk about the Russian Revolution. I don't know anything about the Russian monarchy in a fairy tale sense, though. So he is still a prince.
Okay.
Prince Ivan.
Cool.
So he has his 3 sisters. His parents tell him to marry them off. They basically say the first person that comes to court them that they like, just go ahead and marry them. You know? And so his parents pass away, and he and his 3 sisters go for a walk in their green gardens. And they're all sort of mourning and walking quietly. And then this big black thundercloud comes over the horizon very, very quickly and drives them all back to the castle. So they all run back into the castle. And as soon as they get through the front door of the castle, there's a thunder crack, and the ceiling above them splits open. And through the split in the ceiling, a falcon flies in.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of crash lands on the floor in front of them, and then it turns into a very handsome man.
That's how I met my husband.
So this falcon man says, I used to live here as a guest, but now I've come as a suitor. I want to court your sister, Princess Maria, the oldest of the 3 sisters.
Of the title?
No, this is a different... I wanted to establish that Maria Morevna is a different Maria.
Okay.
This
All
is
right, Russians.
Princess Maria.
Got it.
So he says, I want to marry your sister, Princess Maria.
Mm-hmm.
And Prince Ivan says, if she finds you suitable, then I certainly won't stand in her way, and God's luck to you both.
That's nice.
And Maria says, yes, I like him. He's super hot.
Yeah, done.
And then they go away together, she and her new falcon husband. And so the next year kind of passes, and they sort of start to recover from their parents' death and everything like that. And on the year anniversary of their parents' death, they go for another walk in the garden. And the same thing happens. They get out to the green gardens, Ivan and his 2 sisters, Olga and Anna, and another storm cloud appears, drives them back into the castle, and there's a sound like a thunderclap. The ceiling splits open.
God, they're spending so much money on ceiling repair.
They don't establish whether the ceiling closes back up after the falcon comes in, but that's a lot of money to repair a castle ceiling. So the ceiling splits open, and an eagle flies in, sort of crash lands in the middle of the throne room, and turns into another handsome man. Slightly less handsome than the first. They don't establish it, but it's implied.
It's implied that falcons are hotter than eagles. I think
And
we
they're
all know
right.
that. I was just thinking, who would I rather marry, a falcon or an eagle? It's a falcon.
And so he says the same thing. Basically, he says, I lived in your house as a guest. Now I've returned as a suitor. I want to marry your second sister, Olga. And Prince Ivan says, well, if she'll have you, then absolutely, and go with God's blessing. And Olga says, yes, absolutely. And she goes and she marries the eagle, and they go back to the eagle's kingdom. The eagle man. He's not an eagle form when they're married, I assume. Although that would be
like
cool.
Sometimes like the role playing, she's like, "Hey, honey,
you want to be an eagle for a little sexy stuff?
Spread those wings, baby."
So now it's just Ivan and his youngest sister, Anna. And a year after Olga goes and gets married, they walk around in the gardens, and there's another thunderstorm. They're chased back inside to the castle. There's a thunderclap. The castle ceiling splits open, and a raven flies in.
Oh, yeah.
Crash lands on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
The hottest man. They do establish the hottest of the three comes in.
Ivan's like, damn.
Okay. All right, Raven.
Yes.
And he's like, hey, and Ivan's like, marry my sister. And he's like, done.
He and Anna do a little, the little low bones thing from Letterkenny. They're just like, score.
Knuckles. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Anna goes off and she marries this handsome raven prince, and they go and return to the Raven's Kingdom. So Ivan is now alone in his castle, and he lives alone for a year, and he's very, very lonely. And so he decides at the end of that year to go and visit his sisters in their new kingdoms. So he...
Poor thing.
What has he been doing for a year?
Where's his little sparrow wife that like breaks through the ceiling? Like, marry me.
I wish. Or she should be like a vulture.
Oh my
but
god.
Like super hot.
Oh my god. Yes, it should be a super hot vulture. They're hot anyway.
They are. We love vultures. So he goes out of his castle and he starts walking in the direction that all of the birds flew off in. And he comes across this massive battlefield that's just covered in dead bodies. And he shouts out and he says, if any man here is still alive, tell me what happened. Who slew this mighty army? And one guy, like, leans his head up and is like, it was Princess Maria Morevna who slew this mighty army, and then dies again, I guess. So he's like, Princess Maria Morevna, I've never heard of her before. And so he's sort of thinking about this, and he's thinking on this massive battlefield. And he keeps walking, and he comes across all of these white tents set up just beyond the battlefield. And he walks up and he says, whose army is this? And Maria Morevna comes out.
Yes, she does.
There's no description. This is a Russian fairy tale. This is a translation of an original Russian fairy tale. So there's very little description of anything. It's like sort of like this happened, and then this happened, and this happened. So I'm going to go ahead and say Maria Morevna, hot as hell.
Yeah, hot as shit.
Yeah, I'm picturing like sort of like chainmail black armor with like a really tall pointed golden crown and like long hair and everything. Anyway, so that's Maria Morevna. I've decided.
I'm picturing her dressed like a vulture. She's got like feathers on her shoulder that make her shoulders look really big.
Hell yes.
Yeah, and she's wearing all black
for feet.
Yeah, and she's bald. Anyway, go ahead.
She has a shaved head and like a bunch of like.
Oh, she's got like a cool side shave,
like a Furiosa kind of thing.
Yeah,
going on.
and she cool. Just like a cool side shave, and she has her hair. Her hair is really long, and it's in like a mohawk pony, like the mohawk ponytail things that bubble down. Yeah,
Maria Morevna.
Yeah, fucking here for it.
So Maria Morevna comes out, and she is the most beautiful thing that he has ever seen. And she says, Prince Ivan, where is God taking you? By your will or by compulsion? Basically, are you just sort of
wandering?
Yeah, do you have somewhere to be, or are you like just kind of here? And Prince Ivan says, fine young men don't travel under compulsion. So he's like, nobody tells me what to do.
Okay.
And then Maria says, well, if you're not in a hurry, then why don't you come stay for a little while? So Prince Ivan comes and stays with her army for 2 days. And in those 2 days, they mutually woo each other, Ivan and Maria Morevna, and they get married. At the end of those 2 days.
Yeah, it's just like on a battle, everyone's dying around them, and they're just like, you know what we should do? Fuck. But legally.
Well, there's not a battle happening anymore, because
everyone's still
dying everyone.
You imagine there are medic tents and people getting like amputated and shit.
Oh, for sure.
This is a scene in ACOTAR, by the way. This is a spoiler for ACOTAR, but there's this, like, really infamous scene in the book series where...
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yeah, it's in the third book. It's a spoiler, huge spoiler. But they are in this huge battle, and night one, where they've lost so many people, and they specifically say these two main characters start fucking in a tent, and they write it romantically, saying their growls of pleasure drown out the screams and moans from the soldiers outside.
Is that romantic?
It's the most infamous scene ever. There's a TikTok trend where people are sleeping and they're like, hey, I'm sorry, do you mind if I put on, like, some noise here? I can't sleep in complete silence. And they're like, yeah, sure. And they're like, cool, thank you. And they press play on their phones, and it's just that scene. That's playing.
Just rusty handsaw leg amputations.
Yeah, and they're just, like, moaning in pleasure. And everyone's like, oh, and they're the leaders of the army. And, like, all the soldiers are like, the fuck? Anyways, that's what I'm imagining right now for them.
Almost. Yep, absolutely. So they get married. And Prince Ivan goes back to Maria Morevna's kingdom, and they live together for a little while. Also, I guess he just doesn't have to worry about ruling anyone. He doesn't do anything princely or otherwise rulerly. It seems like it's kind of just a title.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Anyways, so he goes back to Maria Morevna's kingdom. They live together for an unspecified amount of time. And then Maria Morevna decides to go back to war.
She got stuff to do, just girly things.
Yeah, just girly things. So she decides to go back to war, and she sort of leaves him in charge of taking care of the house and everything like that.
Yeah, she does.
And she's like, you can basically do whatever you want. Like, everyone here is here to take care of you. Just one thing, there's a shed out back. Don't go in the shed. Just don't open the door. And he's like, cool, cool, cool. And literally, as she's, like, riding out the front gate of the castle, he, like, runs back to the shed immediately to break the rules. So she has...
Oop. That was the cats really upset about the shed rule breaking.
We've talked about this before. Like, there are equal parts fairy tales where it's like, hey, curiosity killed the cat. Like, if someone tells you not to look at something, don't look at it, or you'll die. And also... the robber bridegroom story where it's like, hey, if your new partner tells you not to look somewhere, you definitely should because it's probably a blood room.
Okay, I'm freaking out because I'm wondering, are you telling me a blood room story? Are you telling me a Russian blood room story? Where she's Bluebeard? Okay, anyway, go ahead. So, I know how I want the story to go.
You're gonna be surprised.
Okay.
Immediately, like, she hasn't even completely left the castle yet, and he races back to the shed and he flings open the door, and he sees this haggard old man, just skin and bones and, like, big, like, gnarled, ruined teeth, long, stringy hair in front of his face, and he's chained up with a set of 12 manacles.
Oh, shit.
Like, just complete overkill as far as manacles go, and he's the only thing in this shed, right? And so Ivan opens the door, he sees this, like, very, very old, skin and bones man, and he's like, oh shit. And the man looks up at him and he says, please take pity on me, I'm so thirsty, will you please get me a drink of water? And Ivan is like, yeah, of course, this seems like a fucked up thing that's going on. So he goes and he gets a bucket of water, he brings it back to the man in the shed, and he holds the bucket so the man can drink the water. And the man says, 1 bucket is not enough to slake my thirst, please go get me another bucket. And so Ivan goes and gets a second bucket, brings it back to him, and he drinks it down. He says, another, please, another. And so Ivan goes and gets a third bucket of water, brings it back to the man in the shed. The man in the shed guzzles down the last few sips of this third bucket of water, and his strength returns to him all at once.
Oh, no.
And he breaks through all of the manacles that are holding him.
So this is the curiosity killed the cat sort of thing.
And he says, my name is Koschei the Deathless. Thank you for rescuing me. Now you'll never see Maria and Morevna again, no more than you can see your own ears. And then he turns into a whirlwind and flies out the window.
Okay. Okay, we've also talked about this, but, like, god damn it, people, don't just say don't do something. Explain exactly why.
I know, you could just say, hey, I have Koschei the Deathless in my shed. Please don't let him out.
If he gets out, he's gonna come and murder me. Hey, don't make me tell you the story of my birth, because I'll turn into a little snake. Like, just don't do it. Oh, I'm so pissed at all. Go ahead.
But again, like, don't look in the room on the left. And it's a blood room, so...
Okay, so to me, if people won't tell you why, they're bad.
Yes. So, anyways, Koschei the Deathless turns into a whirlwind, flies out the window. He goes and flies out to where Maria Morevna is literally probably still in her driveway and picks her up as a whirlwind and takes her away to his castle.
Mm-hmm.
And Ivan is devastated. He goes back into the castle and he gets on all of his armor and all of his weapons and everything. And he cries a little bit. And he's like, Maria Morevna!
No, my hot wife, no!
And he starts walking off in the direction that the whirlwind went to go find his wife, Maria Morevna. He walks for 3 very long days, and then he comes to a beautiful palace. And outside of the palace, there's an oak tree. And on one of the limbs of the oak tree, there is a beautiful, bright, shining falcon. And he walks up to it, and as he walks up, the falcon swoops down to the ground and lands, and it turns into his brother-in-law, the Falcon Prince.
Oh, nice. I forgot about them.
Yeah. And he says, my brother, hello, welcome to my home. And he, like, calls out, and he's like, Princess Maria, come out. And Princess Maria comes out. His sister, not Maria Morevna, comes out, and, you know, they all rejoice, and there's many tears and hugs. And he's like, oh my God, amazing. This is why I actually left the house to begin with. I totally forgot. So he stays with the Falcon Prince and Princess Maria for 3 days. And they celebrate, and they, you know, she tells him all about their beautiful marriage and everything like that. And he tells her about Maria Morevna. And he says, at the end of the 3 days, he says, I have to go. I can't stay here. I have to go and find Maria Morevna. Mm-hmm. And the Falcon Prince says, that's not going to be very easy. And it's going to be a while before you come back, if at all. So would you leave us something to think of you by? Can you leave us your silver spoon, and we'll look at it and we'll think of you while you're gone? And
hey, brother-in-law, sus.
Pause off the spoons, bud.
Hey, you know what? Just remember me fondly, okay, dude?
Just look at my sister.
She looks just like me, and her wife, and her name is the same as my wife.
So that should be another reminder. So he, Prince Ivan gives him a silver spoon that he carries with him, and
who is it? What actor is it that said, the guy from Lovecraft Country says he keeps a silver spoon in his pocket?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like a clay cup.
Something like a piece of, like, a utensil that he keeps in his pocket at all times to remind him.
Or
I can't remember his name. Stupid.
Yeah, it's dumb as hell.
You don't keep a spoon in your pocket. I'm sorry. I called bullshit.
Yeah. So he gives the silver spoon to the Falcon Prince, and then he keeps walking. And he walks for 3 more days, and he comes across another castle as beautiful as the last. And there's a big oak tree out front, and on the oak tree is a big, majestic eagle. And he rides up towards the castle, and the eagle swoops down in front of him and lands and turns into his second brother-in-law. And he says, Prince Ivan, welcome to our home. Like, we weren't expecting you. Come on in. And he calls out for Princess Olga. Princess Olga comes out, and they rejoice. And Prince Ivan stays with them again for 3 days. They swap tales and everything like that. And he says, I have to go find my wife, Maria Morevna. Mm-hmm. And the Eagle Prince says, well, you know, you told me about what my Falcon brother-in-law said, and he's right. Like, it's going to be a while before you come back, and your sister already misses you. So why don't you leave a silver fork with us? And so Prince Ivan gives him a silver fork and carries on. So he rides for another 3 days. He gets to a third castle. This one is the best castle he's ever seen.
Yeah, that
and
raven.
He sees a big, hot raven on the oak tree out front, and he's like, I would know that raven anywhere. The raven
beautiful tail feathers down here, you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. So the raven swoops down and turns into his hottest brother-in-law.
Yeah, he does.
And he's like, Prince Ivan, it's been so long. Thank you so much for coming to our home. And Prince Ivan is like, anytime. If you guys ever want me to, like, come live with you or, like, marry both, like, I
don't know.
If you
ever want a break from my sister, bleh, you know, like, just call on me.
And then the Raven Prince is like, Princess Anna, come on out. Your brother's here.
Oh, your weird brother.
Really weird. I think your brother's hitting on me.
He did that thing that he did at our wedding where he keeps trying to, like, kiss me.
Mm-hmm. But in, like, but not in a bro way.
Listen, it's obvious.
So Prince Ivan goes in, and he spends another 3 days with his raven boyfriend / brother-in-law and his sister Anna, and you know, they all tell stories and everything, and the raven is so excited to hear that his brothers-in-law, the eagle and the falcon, have already seen them and everything like that. And so Ivan on the third day says, I have to leave. I have to go find Maria Morevna. And the Raven says, well, if you could leave something with us, that would be great. How about your silver snuff box? And so Prince Ivan leaves with them the silver snuff box. And
now he has
down the road.
He has nothing to eat with. He has to eat with his hands like an animal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, animals with hands.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any snuff. So he's just like, what, like walking out there not snuffing?
He took all of the snuff out of the snuff box and put it in a Ziploc bag and just has it tucked into the pocket of his jacket.
Is that chewing tobacco?
Snuff, I think, is,
It sounds like something you'd sniff, but I think that is wrong.
Maybe.
Okay.
No idea.
Cool.
Maybe it's cocaine.
Oh my god, just my little cocaine box. And he has no little spoon? Wait.
That's heroin.
Okay, well, he still has heroin.
Content warning for drug references.
Guys, this isn't for kids or people who don't like drugs. Go ahead.
So he carries on, and after another 3 days, he comes up to a big, imposing, terrifying castle. This is the castle of Koschei the Deathless. And he looks around. He doesn't see Koschei the Deathless anywhere, but he sees Maria Morevna in the window of the castle. So he rushes into the castle, and he rushes up to Maria Morevna, and she's like, oh my god, I never thought I would see you again. Did you open my shed? Why did you do that?
I have to yell at you real quick.
And he says, quote, from this translation, forgive me. Let's not mention things in the past. Let's go before Koschei the Deathless comes back. It's like, look, it's fine. It's fine.
Hey, you know what? Why bring up the past when the present is here? Let's go.
When the present is here with all the consequences of the past.
Oh, God.
So he says, quick, we have to go before Koschei the Deathless returns. And so Maria Morevna jumps up on his horse and they ride off. A little while later, Koschei the Deathless comes back to his castle, and as he's riding up, his horse stumbles, and he says, you insatiable nag, what are you tripping for? Or do you sense some misfortune?
Oh.
And the horse says, Prince Ivan has come and taken Maria Morevna.
Okay.
And Ivan says, and they left? And the horse is like, yeah, they left. And Koschei says, can we catch them? And the horse says, we could sow wheat, wait for it to grow, reap it, thresh it, make it into flour, prepare 5 full ovens of bread, and then start pursuit, and even then we'd catch them.
I mean, what a sassy psychic horse.
Sassy horse. So Koschei runs off, the horse with Koschei on his back, runs off in the direction that Ivan and Maria Morevna went, and he catches them. Koschei grabs Maria Morevna, and he says to Ivan, look, like, you did me a solid, man. You're the reason I'm out, and I appreciate that. I respect you. I'm going to forgive you for stealing Maria Morevna from me. And I'm also, if you do it again, I'm going to forgive you that time. But if you do it a third time, I'm going to chop you into bits.
You know, that's pretty cool of Koschei the Deathless.
Yeah, he set expectations at a reasonable level, you know?
Yeah.
So he takes Maria Morevna back to the castle. Prince Ivan sits down and cries for a little while. And then he gets up and he goes back to the castle. And he gets to the castle and Koschei the Deathless is gone again. And he goes to Maria Morevna and is like, quick, let's go. And she's like, he's going to catch us. He already got us before. Like, if we leave, he's going to catch us.
Like, this, we're going to do the same plan that failed the first time?
Yeah.
Come on.
And Ivan says, let him. At least we'll spend an hour or two together.
Oh, he wants to get laid. God,
Prince
Ivan, you dog.
And so she jumps up on the horse and they ride away. Koschei the Deathless is coming back to his house again, and his horse stumbles again. And he's like, horse, what's wrong? What do your horse eyes see?
Yeah, like your psychic horse vision.
And the horse says, Ivan has taken Maria Morevna again. And Koschei says, can we catch them? And the horse says, we could sow barley, wait for it to grow, reap it, thresh it, brew beer, drink ourselves drunk, sleep it off, and then set off in pursuit, and we would still catch them. And so Koschei rides off towards Ivan, and he catches up with them, and he takes Maria Morevna back, and he's like, all right, man, I did say I would give you the second time, so, like, we're square, but, like, please don't do it again, or I will chop you up. Like, I'm going to chop you up if you do it again. And he also says, like, I told you before, like, you would never be able to see Maria Morevna again, no more than you could see your own ears.
Oh, so he's just gotta look at his own ears.
No.
The spell is broken. I got it.
And so Kosha the Deathless rides off with Maria Morevna again. Ivan sits down in the forest and cries some more. And then he gets back up and he goes back to the castle where Kosha the Deathless is once again gone.
Why does he keep leaving? What's he doing?
I know. He's got errands.
He's gotta go hang out with his horse. Got some alone time.
He hates Maria Morevna. So Ivan cries, he gets back up, he goes back to the castle, he sees that Kosha the Deathless is gone again, and he goes up to Maria Morevna and says, let's go! And she's like, he's gonna trap you up. Like, if we leave, he's gonna try. He told you very clearly, he set expectations from the beginning that he was gonna chop you up if you did this a third time, and this is the third time, so he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And he says, let him cut me up, I can't live without you.
He's so romantic. This is a teenager. This isn't like a grown man.
He spends, we're like halfway through the story, I'm gonna tell you, he spends about half of the story crying. He is useless.
He's very melodramatic.
So Maria Morevna rides off with Prince Ivan again, and Kosha is on his way back to his house, and his horse trips, and he's like, horse, what is it? And the horse is like, Prince Ivan took Maria Morevna again.
He's like, I probably should have guessed that. I don't know why I keep asking you.
And then he says, Kosha the Deathless says, can we catch them? And the horse says, yes. And then they ride off. I don't know why there wasn't a third one. He ran out. He had the first one. He was like, oh, and we could also do barley. And then they got to this one. He was like, we could grow a tomato plant. And it's not in season. So I guess we could wait for it to be in season, and then we could grow a tomato plant. We can harvest the tomatoes. And then I guess we could make tomato sauce. We would still have to.
Here's the thing. They don't need to catch them. He knows where they live.
Don't ask me to explain Kosha the Deathless to you.
It's just...
Man's got his reasons.
I don't know.
So Kosha rides off on his horse again, and he catches up to Ivan and Maria Morevna, and he chops Ivan up. He chops him up into little pieces, and he puts him in a barrel, and he seals the barrel with pitch, and then he reinforces the barrel with iron hoops around it, so that
just in case.
And then he throws the barrel into the ocean.
Yes.
He takes Maria Morevna back to his castle.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, the three stepbrothers all look to their various silver pieces that Prince Ivan has left them and see that they suddenly turn black.
Oh, no.
And they think the silver's turned black, something awful has happened to Prince Ivan.
Mm-hmm.
So the eagle prince turns into an eagle, and he flies out over the ocean, and he finds this barrel, and he picks it up, and he drags it to shore. Meanwhile... The falcon goes to bring living water, like running water, like river water.
Yeah.
And he scoops some of that up, and he brings it back to where the eagle is. And the raven goes and finds dead water, so like lake water, stagnant water.
Yeah.
He scoops it up and he brings it back to the eagle. So all three of them sort of collect on the beach, and they work together, and they break open this barrel, and they wash all the pieces of Prince Ivan, and then they put him back together in like the shape that he's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then the raven sprinkles the dead water over him, and all of the pieces grow back together. And then the falcon sprinkles the living water, and Prince Ivan comes back to life.
Okay.
Being chopped up does not seem like a terminal
ever
situation in fairy tales.
No, like
If
it's
you're
fine if you're
chopped
chopped
up,
up. Somebody just has to put you together like a piece, like a puzzle.
Yeah, exactly. And then like put some stuff on you.
That's actually a fun survival tip in case you're ever in a situation where somebody you're with has been chopped up into little bits.
Yeah, you just cover them in stagnant lake water and wait.
Huh. And put them together. Just be sure to wash them off first because you're gross, you know?
Yeah, you don't want to touch dead stuff. So Prince Ivan comes back to life and says, I was asleep for so long. Oh my god. And the brothers say, you would have slept longer if not for us. Now, why don't you come back to our various castles and we'll, help you get better. And Prince Ivan says, no, I can't. I can't stop. Kosha the Deathless has Maria Morevna, and I need to go save her.
I like that he keeps calling her Maria Morevna. It's like it's how I imagine if somebody married their teacher, and just for the rest of their lives, they couldn't help but continue to be like, Mrs. Wilson, I mean, my wife.
Helen. Prince Ivan goes and he rides off to the castle again, mm-hmm. but this time he has been killed, so he's like, the stakes are high. So he goes to Maria Morevna while she's in the castle, and he says, can you ask Kosha the Deathless about his horse? And she's like, yeah, totally. So then Prince Ivan like rides off and hides. And when Koschei the Deathless comes back to the house, Maria Morevna says, hey, you, quick question, where'd you get that cool horse? And he says, I rode over 39 lands and over into the 3/10th kingdom and then past a fiery river. And there, past the river of fire, lives Baba Yaga.
Yes, Baba Yaga.
Woo!
Baba Yaga. Should have known this was coming.
Oh my god, I know. I didn't want to tell you guys what the book was because it's Baba Yaga, the Wild Witch of the East in Russian fairy tales.
Hell yeah, Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga, baby. You know it. I'm so excited to be finally telling a Baba Yaga story. Yes. I waited so long.
Worth it.
God, I love her so much. Okay, so he says, over the river of fire lives Baba Yaga. Mm-hmm. And I got my horse from her. She raises very, very fine mares, like horses. And I went to her and I herded her horses for 3 days. And when I was able to successfully do that, she gave me a foal of one of her horses. And that's my horse.
A baby.
Yeah. And so Maria Morevna says, oh my god, that's so crazy. How did you cross that fiery river? Like, if someone was to do that, like, how would they do that? And Koschei the Deathless says, well, I have a magic handkerchief. So that answers that question. So he says, if you take my magic handkerchief and you wave it 3 times to the right, a magic, very, very tall magic bridge will appear, which you can cross over the river of fire using. And then you shake it 3 times to the left and the bridge disappears.
Yeah.
So that night, Maria Morevna steals Koschei the Deathless's handkerchief, obviously.
Yeah.
She runs off, she tells Ivan everything, and Ivan takes the handkerchief and he goes to find Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
He rides across 39 lands through the 3/10th kingdom, and he waves the handkerchief to cross the river of fire. And then he keeps riding. At this point, though, it's been like a couple of days since he left the Koschei the Deathless's castle.
Yeah.
And he's starting to get really hungry because apparently he doesn't know how to feed himself.
Oh my god, he's so useless.
He's useless. And he sees an overseas bird, like a
and he
like
doesn't have like
seagull.
a fork or a spoon either, so he can't eat either.
So he sees this, it's described as an overseas bird, like a seagull.
Yeah.
He sees a seagull with all of its chicks, and he says, I'm going to eat one of these chicks. And the seagull says, don't do that.
Your brother-in-laws are all birds.
Can
you stop?
He says, don't eat my chicks. There will be a time when I come in handy to you. And so Prince Ivan says, okay, I won't eat your babies, I guess. So he keeps walking, and then he comes to a beehive. And he says, I guess I'll just take a little honey from this beehive. And the queen bee comes out and says, please don't take my honey. I need it. If you don't, there will come a time when I will come in handy to you. And he's like, fine. I guess honey isn't really a source of sustenance either, I guess. So he keeps walking. And he comes to a lioness and her cub. And he says, at least I'll eat this lion cub. I'm so hungry, I feel sick. Like, you couldn't fight a bird, but you're gonna go after a lion?
Go after a lion? No. Also, that's dark.
Yeah, so the lioness says, like, don't eat my cub. What the fuck, man? Like, just go eat, like, a plant or something.
Yeah, like, there's an apple tree right over there.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of tomatoes that are in season now.
So she says, please don't eat my cub. If you don't, I will, owe you one, and basically I'll come in handy to you eventually.
As if she couldn't just take him down.
Yeah, right? One. So Ivan is like, oh, fine. And he's, like, starting to get woozy from hunger, but he keeps walking.
Yeah.
And so he finally comes to the house of Baba Yaga, which, if you don't know anything about Baba Yaga, first of all, you need to know more about Baba Yaga, and that's a problem that you need to solve. Baba Yaga is a witch in Russian folklore, a witch or a sort of class of witches. There are supposedly multiple Baba Yagas.
It's not John Wick.
No.
It's really weird because Baba Yaga is female presenting.
Yes.
In every story. I don't even think it's like, there's not even like
question.
a little one. Like, it's weird that they call him Baba Yaga.
Yeah, it is weird. Baba Yaga is a witch in Russian and, like, general Slavic folklore. She lives in a hut that has chicken feet so it can walk around. She travels around in a mortar and pestle, which she uses kind of like a boat. And she has a broom that she brushes behind her so that you can't follow her tracks. And oftentimes her hut, when it is stationary, is pictured with 12 posts outside. And on 11 of the posts are human heads that have been chopped off. And then there's one that's empty as like kind of a threat. Like, hey, don't fuck with me.
This is where your head goes.
Yeah, she is sometimes helpful, sometimes vindictive. She's kind of like a force of justice a little bit. She, like, people have to prove themselves to get her help, and if they don't, then she full on eats them.
She also eats children, like, almost exclusively.
Children and women almost exclusively, yeah. Anyways, she's great, and I love her.
She is beautiful. Like, she's fucking... This is a Baba Yaga fan house.
Yes. I know that we just described her as a cannibal murderer, but
go read
in a cool way.
Go read, is it Taisa Kiriskaya, her Ask Baba Yaga book, which I will post a picture of on the Instagram.
Yes, it is not about Baba Yaga. It's a selection of like sort of like Dear Abby poetry, but written to Baba Yaga, and gives advice. So people will send her questions like, I'm feeling really unfulfilled in my job, what should I do? And Baba Yaga will be like, when you look into the sky on a clouded night, you will see your darkness reflected back upon you, but when you look into the sky on a starry night, you will see all the hope and all of the things in the universe, like tiny frogs in the sky, and you will one night may be cloudy, but the next may be clear, and thus you must persist through the blood of your enemies. Stuff like that.
Yeah, she's not quoting it.
No, I'm just riffing. But that's kind of what it is. It's great. Yeah. Also, this story is from, again, it's called Baba Yaga, the Wild Witch of the East in Russian Fairy Tales, translated and with an introduction from Sibyllin Forrester. And it's great. It's like a full summary of like all of the folk tales, or a lot of the folk tales that involve Baba Yaga, and also like a literary analysis of like who Baba Yaga is and like her place in folklore as kind of like the mother and crone of the like mother maiden crone trope kind of, where she's like, again, like vindictive, but like justice driven and stuff like that. And like supremely magical. Anyways, Baba Yaga, big fan, amazing, love her. So finally, Prince Ivan gets to the hut of Baba Yaga, and he looks and he sees the 12 posts with 11 heads stuck on them. And he walks up, he sees Baba Yaga is out sort of in her garden, and there are all these horses milling about. And he makes the choice to yell out to this ancient forest
Hey,
witch.
little mama, let me tell you, let me whisper in your ear.
Ivan says, hello, Granny.
Oh, no.
Baba Yaga, though, is super chill. She's like, hey, Prince Ivan, how have you come? By your own goodwill or in need? Like, are you here because you need something, or did you just come to see me?
Yeah.
And he says, I've come because I need your help. I want to serve you for a bogatyr horse. Bogatyr is I'm not going to try and do the Russian pronunciation, just because it's going to be really weird and shitty. But bogatyr is basically, it's like a hero. It's like the protagonist of a story is the bogatyr.
Okay.
So he's asking her for like a hero horse. He's like, I want to be a hero, so I need a hero horse. So he says, I've come to serve you in return for a bogatyr horse. Baba Yaga says, well, cool. I mean, it's not like you have to serve me for like a year or anything. Like, I'm going to be fair. You serve me for 3 days.
Yeah.
If you can herd my horses, if you can keep them in line for 3 days, then I will give you one of my horses.
Nice.
However, if you don't...
But he's bad at things.
Yeah, she says, but if you can't keep my horses in line, then... and she like taps on the post without a head on it and is like... Sorry.
I don't know, man.
So she's going to chop off his head if he can't hurt the horses. So he's like, yeah, that seems fair. Totally normal. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Baba Yaga invites him inside. She like feeds him and gives him water and a place to sleep for the night, which is super nice of her. She did not have to do
in this
that.
Story.
Yeah. So the next morning, Ivan goes to work. As soon as he rides the mares out of their pen, they all ride off in different directions to different meadows.
Uh-oh.
And Ivan sits down and cries, and he cries himself to sleep. And he sleeps for the whole day. And right before sunset, when he has to drive the horses back to Baba Yaga's hut, he is woken up by a seagull.
Oh, yeah.
The seagull says, "Wake up, the mares are home. Like, I brought them home." So Ivan goes back to Baba Yaga's hut, and Baba Yaga is shouting at the horses. She's like, "Why did you come home on your own?" Like,
oh, she was mad. She wanted that other head.
Yeah, and so the mayor said, like, these birds, they all came flying from all around the world and tried to peck out our eyes. Like, and they, like, pushed us back towards the house. Like, we weren't going to stay up there with all those birds who were trying to peck out our eyes. And Baba Yaga is like, that's fair. Birds are scary. Tomorrow, don't run towards the meadows. I want you to run straight into the forest, right? He's never going to find you in the forest. So Ivan comes back in, and she gives him dinner and a place to sleep. And he wakes up the next morning. He brings the mares out. They all immediately, like, lift their tails and start to run. They run into the forest. And Ivan is like, "Oh, no!" And he cries again. And he, again, cries so hard that he falls asleep. And he sleeps for the whole day. And then he wakes up, a lion wakes him up and says, "Prince Ivan, wake up. The mares are all together."
One of them is missing part of its leg. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. And Prince Ivan gets up and he goes back to the hut and he sees all of the horses, like, cowering in their pen. And Baba Yaga is shouting at them, like, "Why did you come home? Like, are you trying to, like, I'm gonna be out a horse if this guy does this." And the mares all say, like, "Look, we tried to stay away, but all of these beasts from all over the world all came and attacked us, and they almost, like, tore us to pieces. Like, this was the only option. Was to come straight home." And Baba Yaga's like, "Oh, okay. Tomorrow, we're not fucking around. Tomorrow, as soon as you get out, run into the sea." So Prince Ivan comes back, he eats his dinner, he goes to bed, he wakes up in the morning, and he drives the horses out, and they all immediately, like, turn tail and run into the sea so that just their heads are above the water, and like, "Haha, fuck you, Ivan." And so he is like, "Oh, god damn it, how am I supposed to get horses out of the water?"
Yeah, honestly.
You know that classic saying, you can't lead a horse out of water.
You can't take a horse out of the sea.
You can take the sea out of the horse.
You can see a horse. You cannot.
I'm on the seahorse diet.
I'm on the seahorse diet.
I see a horse, I die.
Guys, 2022, we need money for merchandise so that I can make a bib that says, "I'm on the seahorse diet."
So Ivan is like, "Oh god, these horses are in the ocean." And he cries and cries and cries.
Yeah.
Cries himself to sleep on the beach. He wakes up and there's a little bee in front of his face. And the bee says, "Wake up, Prince Ivan!" Cutie! And he says, "Me and all my bee friends herded all of the mares back to the house. But before you go back, listen. When you get to Baba Yaga's hut, don't let her see you. Sneak into the stables, all right, and go behind this crib that's in there, right? Behind there, you hide. And you'll see that there is a mangy foal that she's keeping in the stables. It'll be rolling around in a pile of muck.
Aww, for fun.
Yes, because it's a baby. So stay there, hide behind the crib until the stroke of midnight. At the stroke of midnight, you jump on that foal and you ride away, okay? And Ivan is like, "Yes, I'm great at following directions and this will be fine."
You are not great at following directions, Ivan. You've proven this several times over.
So Ivan goes back to the house and he creeps around behind the stable and he hides behind the crib and he sees this mangy foal. And he hears Baba Yaga screaming at the horses and she's like, "Why did you come home? And he wasn't even with you. Like, he wasn't even hurting you a little bit." And all of the horses are like, "Okay, look, we were out in the water and then suddenly all of these bees appeared, like big bees, little bees, like bees so big that they, like, you could hear them coming, and bees so small that we could barely see them. They all came from all the corners of the world and they stung us until we bled. So they stung us until we came back here. So we're back here. We're really sorry." So Baba Yaga is like, "Oh, okay, well, he's not here to claim his horse, so I guess it's fine." And so Baba Yaga makes her dinner and she goes to bed. Ivan waits until the stroke of midnight, hiding in the stable. At the stroke of midnight, he jumps on the foal and he rides the foal as fast as he can back towards the fiery river. He takes the handkerchief and he shakes it 3 times to the right. A big bridge appears. He crosses over the river, and then he shakes it 2 times to the left instead of 3.
Oh no.
And the bridge shrinks to be a very, very, very thin, sort of rickety looking bridge.
Yeah.
And then he keeps riding. Baba Yaga wakes up in the morning and she realizes that the foal is gone. And she says, "Oh, that Ivan, he must have stolen my foal." And so she gets in her mortar and pestle and she like rows herself out towards the fiery river. And she sees this like skinny little like rickety bridge over the river. And she says, "Ah, a good bridge." That's a quote. A good bridge. She rides, she gets halfway across it, and then the bridge collapses into the fiery river, and she falls into the water and dies.
Oh no!
Like I said, Baba Yaga is a class of witch.
Okay.
There's not just one. So
Okay.
she'll be fine. They will, as a species, will be fine. This Baba Yaga also, though, was not
a good Baba Yaga.
No, she needs to be much worse to be a good Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
So Ivan is off, sort of home free with this horse. He feeds the foal in green meadows for an unclear amount of time until it turns into a marvelous horse. It could have just transformed. It was like, just needed some grass, and then like transformed into a fully grown marvelous horse. Yeah. Or it could be that he was there for months and it grew into a big beautiful horse.
But since everything has been happening in 3-day times, like, I think it must have grown pretty quickly because it's a magic horse.
Probably. Anyway, so he feeds this mangy foal until it becomes a great big healthy horse. And he rides off towards Koschei the Deathless's castle once again to get Maria Morevna.
Yeah.
And Maria Morevna, Koschei is again gone because he's never home.
Yeah.
Maria Morevna flings herself into Ivan's arms and says, "Oh, how has God resurrected you? Like, I assume that I know that I saw you since you were resurrected because I gave you the handkerchief.
Oh,
but like I
forgot.
assumed that you died again.
Because you're an
so
idiot.
Like, how have you been resurrected?" And Ivan says, the quote from this story is, "This is what happened and that. Come away with me." So presumably he tells her what's going on, or he was like, stuff.
Yada, yada,
Anyways.
yada, and I have on a horse, yada, yada, yada.
Maria Morevna says, "If Koschei the Deathless catches you again, he'll chop you up again." Like, he's still gonna chop. It's not like it restarts to you're fine on the 4th one.
Yeah. Yeah, like, he's gonna kill you.
And Ivan says, "Don't worry, because I got a very fancy horse. He can't catch us. I have a bogatir horse now."
Nice.
So they ride off. Koschei the Deathless returns, and his horse trips on his way, and he says, "Let me guess, Ivan grabbed Maria Morevna again." I assumed he was dead, but I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, my handkerchief went missing right after she asked me about it, so like...
Yeah. And the horse is like, yeah, he's very persistent, and Koschei's like, "Ugh, okay, well, can we catch him?" And the horse says, "God knows. Prince Ivan now has a bogatir horse, and that horse is better than I am.
Aww.
So I'm not sure." And Koschei says, "I can't bear it. I'm going to chase them." So Koschei the Deathless eventually sort of catches up to Ivan and Maria Morevna. He and the horse are both completely exhausted, while Ivan and Maria Morevna have been going at like a gentler pace. So he gets there, and he is out of breath, and he jumps off his horse. He pulls out his sword, and he goes to stab Ivan in the back. And Ivan's new bogatir horse whips around and kicks Koschei the Deathless in the head so hard that his brain flies out of his head.
Oh, shit!
And then the prince is like, "Oh, shit," and he grabs the club, and he beats the body of Koschei the Deathless. And then he builds a big bonfire, and he burns the body, and then he scatters the ashes to the wind.
What about the brain?
Presumably he burns it also.
Okay. It's just out there rolling around.
I guess. Nasty. Like a tumbleweed.
A little gray, slimy tumbleweed.
Through the forest of Russia. Maria Morevna jumps on Koshay's horse, and Ivan rides his horse, and they head off towards Ivan's or Maria Morevna's home, and they pass by all of the stepbrother or the brothers-in-law and everything, and all the brothers-in-law are like, "Oh, Prince Ivan, we assumed that you were dead. We're so glad to see you, though. Congratulations. Also, we know that you like straight up died, and this has probably taken like a year at this point. But this is worth it because we're meeting Maria Morevna now, and she's the hottest. So good job, bro.
Nice pool, bro.
Hell yes." And so then they, Ivan and Maria Morevna return to Maria Morevna's kingdom and live happily ever after.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so do they just abandon their kingdom?
I guess. They don't do any...
You would hope that like an uncle or someone would have taken over that kingdom.
You would hope. Or something. Or like it was like, maybe it was like a democratically elected king and everyone was like, Ivan is useless, so no.
Maybe they had another older brother?
Maybe.
And then Ivan's task was just to marry off his sisters?
Maybe.
Weird. Fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm sad that Baba Yaga dies, but again, she wasn't a good Baba Yaga.
No, she needed to be a lot more brutal, honestly. This is a very famous fairy tale. It has a couple of alternate versions. One of them, instead of bees, Ivan is helped by crabs. He goes to like kill and eat a crab, and the crab is like, "No, I'll help you." And then the crabs chase the horses out of the water. One of them, Ivan's horse, his bogatyr horse, is the brother of Koshay's horse. And so when Koshay catches up to Ivan and Maria Morevna the last time, Ivan's horse says, "Brother, why do you serve such a cruel master? You should kick him off and murder him." And Koshay's horse is like, "Oh my god, I should do that." And he kicks him off and murders him, and then
I like this better.
Yeah. Also, there are alternate versions where Koshay the Deathless is a dragon who's chained up in Maria Morevna's shed, and he is like dripping blood everywhere. And he says like he tells Ivan to take some of his dragon blood and put it on other parts of the dragon, I guess, and then breathe on the dragon, and the dragon will be released. And he promises him that Koshay the dragon promises Ivan that he will save Ivan 3 times from death after that. So yeah, those are the alternate versions. I also wanted to mention Prince Ivan is a figure in a lot of Baba Yaga stories. He's sort of a stand-in. He's very intentionally and consistently a very hapless and stupid man. Who just can't do anything and gets lucky every single time. There are a bunch of stories about him just being just the fucking dumbest. Yeah.
I am a little annoyed by the structure of how this fairy tale was, because they started out with he was fine, but like he wasn't anything special. And then he meets this really special woman who has conquered entire kingdoms and who is like a huge warrior, and she's amazing. And then she just gets damseled immediately, and the rest of the time she's just kind of like, like waiting to be rescued, like multiple times. Like I would like this to be rewritten in 2021 and pass the Bechdel test.
Yes. Yeah. So that's Prince Ivan is a consistent figure. There are a couple of other figures that show up in a bunch of Baba Yaga stories, like Vasilisa the Wise is another Baba Yaga standard. Also, Koshay the Deathless is a very consistent character. Koshay the Deathless is depicted usually as an old man, like a warlock kind of deal. Sometimes as a dragon or an ogre or a ghoul. He's basically just like the stand-in for being an evil, gross guy. His whole deal is that he kidnaps princesses, just women, and is gross. And that's his whole deal. The reason why he's called Koshay the Deathless, it is sort of a mistranslation that has become the standard. It's actually Koshay whose death lives outside of his body. So this is other stories with Koshay the Deathless. The hero has to kill Koshay by going and finding Koshay will store his mortality like inside of an egg or something.
Oh yeah.
And so the hero has to go and break the egg before he can kill Koshay, or like on the tip of a pin or something like that. So he'll store his mortality elsewhere. And there's a whole Arne Thompson Uther category for that. It
shows up a lot in Nordic tales too. It's like the troll that has his heart outside of his body.
Yes, I actually, where is it? think I took a picture of it. It is Koschei the Deathless's stories oftentimes fall into the Arne Thompson Uther grouping ATU 302, which is the ogre's heart in the egg, which is just like the idea of a monster that keeps its mortality separate from itself so that it can't be killed, which is very cool. But Koschei the Deathless...
Voldemort and the not the Deathly Hallows. Horcruxes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So very, very cool. I like it a lot. Also, Baba Yaga, again, a figure who is like both a caretaker and a executioner, and I love her. But she, like, consistently, Koschei the Deathless will go and like kidnap a woman, and the hero will go to Baba Yaga, and Baba Yaga is like, oh, fuck that guy. Yeah, I will absolutely help you.
I'm the only one that could kidnap and eat women.
Yeah. It's hard to define what Baba Yaga is. I think that it helps to understand her to know that her arch nemesis is a gross old dude who kidnaps women.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
She will eat women, but she does not like it when gross old dudes do it. And
you know what?
I
Me neither.
appreciate that.
Me neither.
So, anyways, Baba Yaga.
Amazing. Good.
BY gang. Whoop whoop.
BY gang. That's another possible merch.
Woo!
Okay. Amazing. Let's take a quick break.
Yes.
And then we will come on back.
Alrighty.
Bye. Okay, Max.
Okay, Janey.
Max, okay.
Janey, okay.
Okay, so I decided this week to tell a story from the other side of my family, because I already told one from the Sioux side. Now I want to tell you a Filipino story. I grew up with some Filipino folk tales, specifically from my grandma. That being said, they were never, like, specific. Like, I didn't have specific names or, like, Tagalog. We didn't speak Tagalog growing up. She actually lost her language because she moved here when she was young and then was afraid to speak it.
Yeah.
Because of racism. So,
Your grandmother?
Yes. She married just a quick overview. My grandmother was born and raised in Antipolo, and then World War II broke out. She was a Filipino guerrilla fighter. She was a super badass, and then she married my grandfather, who was an American soldier, and moved back here, and then, dealt with all the things that came along with that. So I bought a book called Philippine Folk Tales, and it was published by something called Forgotten Books. This book was originally written in 1916, I believe. Yes. First published 1916, written by Mabel Cook Cole, and was republished in 2007 by Forgotten Books. And I have a lot to say about that later, but I'm just going to jump right in. I have some explanations for what these things are. My pronunciation is going to be a garbaggio. Get ready.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so this is called Aponibolinayen and the Sun, and it's from Tinguian. I don't know. So, Aponibolinayen was basically the most beautiful woman on Earth. She was so beautiful that she literally shined and burned like a flame. And one day, she and her sister-in-law were gathering greens outside when she got too close to this sixiglat tree, and a big vine came down, wrapped around her, and then whoop, yoinked her up into the sky. So, like, it threw her up into the sky, and she landed basically in the clouds, and she found herself in, like, the most beautiful land she had ever seen. Like, there's, like, this beautiful babbling brook there, and, like, all the sand in the brook is actually just these beautiful beads and stuff, and she's like, wow. And then all of the trees are these, they're called beetle nuts. Have you ever heard of this?
Mm-mm.
Betel? I've been saying beetle nut. I actually have heard this, but I'm
like Beetlejuice? Like the...
No, not spelled the same, but beetle, Betel.
Oh, that's how the constellation is spelled.
Oh.
Betelgeuse. IUS, maybe?
EU, I think.
Maybe? Yeah.
But,
yeah, EU, you're right.
So, there are these beetle nut trees, and basically they're all gold, like they're surrounded by like this golden thing, so they're shining like pure gold. And where women would usually go to the river to like gather water in the jars, there are these big golden plates and stuff everywhere. And so she's just like, where am I? And so she sits there for a little bit thinking like, this is weird. And then eventually she's like in awe. Eventually she kind of comes out of it and she looks around and she finds a tiny little house. And it's a beautiful little house, but she's like, oh crap, listen, I'm clearly in like the sky. I'm probably near where gods are. I don't think I'm supposed to be here. Like, what if whoever owns this house is pissed that I'm here? And so she's like, I need to scope this out before I like start walking up to people, like saying, hello, it's me, a single woman. And so
I'm new to the sky. You want to show me around?
Never been to the sky before. And so, you know, which is a good survival technique. Like, she's pretty smart. So she shimmies her way up a Beetlejuice tree. She shimmies her way up the beetle nut tree. And she hangs out there and she just watches for about 2 days. She just sits there and she observes. And what she finds out is that this owner of the house, his name is Ini Init. And he's the sun, right? So she's like, oh shit.
Oh, like
the sun, S-U-N.
Mm-hmm.
And so every morning he comes out of his house and he stretches and then he goes off to work. And then every late afternoon he comes back and they call it the big star, which is cute, but it's the moon. The moon comes and takes over and he comes back to his house, right? But first he'll go fishing and he'll catch his dinner for that day and he'll bring it back to his little hut. So around day 2, he leaves and she's like, okay, he's going to be gone for a little while. So I've got some time. So she comes down the beetle nut tree. God, now that you've said it, how dare you? So she comes down the beetle nut tree and she goes into the little hut and she starts to cook. She's like, I'm hungry. So she makes like a pot of rice and she puts up like a pot for fish. And instead of going out to fish though, she's from a magic, like she's one of the few clans in the world, like mortal world, that has magic. And so she takes out a stick and she puts it in the pot and she closes it. And in a couple hours, you know, however long it takes her to make this, she takes off the lid of the pot and there's a bunch of fish in there that has been cooked and it's delicious. So she eats that. And then she's like, I still have lots of time because it's still like, I came out here early. So like, I still got time. I'm just going to take a quick nap in like a nice bed and not in the top of a tree. So she doesn't realize it really how tired she is. She goes into this, the sun's bed basically and like just closes her eye for a minute and then she's out. So the sun, he comes back from his, traipse around the world and he goes to the river and he fishes and he catches a really big fish and he starts to clean it. And then he happens to kind of look towards his house and he sees that from all of the windows, there is this like bright shining light coming through and there's smoke coming out of the chimney. And he's like, my house is on fire. Oh, no. So he drops everything and he very panically runs back towards his house and he opens the door and it's not on fire. Like, he's like, what is this? But there is like food in the hearth. He's like, huh. That's weird. And so he sees there's lights coming up from underneath one of the doors. So he's like, okay, so he peeks into his room and he sees the most beautiful woman he has ever seen, shining so brightly like a flame, and she's asleep on his bed. And he's like, what?
Someone's been sleeping in my bed.
And so, but he's like, I don't know what to do. And so he like kind of awkwardly stands there like figuring out what to do. And then he like closes the door back and he's like, you know what? I'm going to make dinner. And then I'm going to invite her to eat dinner with me. That'll be smooth. Aww. She'll like that. And so he like goes and finds that fish that he dropped. And he finishes cleaning it and he makes some more rice. And he like starts doing all this stuff. He makes a really lovely dinner. But when he goes to call her, he's like, okay, I'm going to go wake her up now, like quietly so I don't scare her. And he opens the door and she's not in there because he had been making a bunch of noise while he was cooking. And she had heard it and she got scared and she had snuck out the window and crawled back up her beetle nut tree. And so he's like, oh no. And so he looks around for her and he's really bummed out. So the next day he goes to work and she comes back out of the tree when he leaves. And she's like, okay. So she sneaks back in, she makes some food, she does all the stuff, she cleans up this time. And this time she's like, you know, I feel bad for stealing his stuff. Like, it's mostly just rice though, because she puts her stick in the pot and then it turns into fish, right? So she's like, I'm not stealing anything except for like rice. But she kind of feels bad, so she makes a really nice plate for him, and she keeps it on the hearth to, like, keep it warm. And so when he comes back, she's not there, there's no sign of her, but he has a really nice dinner made. So they do this for a couple of days, right? And he's starting to fall madly in love with this weird little, like, squatter. He's like... She's so pretty, and she makes really good food, and, like, she's just, like, sneaking into my house every day and making me dinner. Like, it's really weird. And so he's like, I need to, like, figure out a way to talk to her. And so I'm a trapper. I'm going to do that. I'm going to like trap her and then I'm going to talk to her.
No.
Yep. You know,
This
just
is like a
little
Cinderella
trap.
kind of deal where
Yeah.
he's like, I'll just pour tar down
I'm
the
going to
steps.
break her fucking legs. And then she'll never be able to run away from me. So, she goes to his house the next day. He's like, also, like, he's just kind of sharing his house with someone. So, like, this is fair. I would also want to know who they are.
Yeah.
But so he decides to catch her. The next day, he goes to work. But in the afternoon, he starts to, like, call out towards the big star. And he's like, hey, hurry the hell up. I need to go home early. And the moon's like, it's not my time yet. And he's like, you come out right now. So the day ends a little early that day. And the moon's like, I mean, fine, but you owe me one. He's like, no. So he sneaks back home. And he goes in and he sees Aponibolinayen, and she's in the house and she's kind of humming to herself and she's making this fish dinner. And he sneaks in and he closes the door and he locks it. So she turns around and she's like, hey! And it specifically says, like, she's pissed. She's like, how dare you? You sit over here and you close the door so I can't get out. Who do you think you are? And he's like, I'm the owner of this house. Like, you're using all my shit. Like, I don't know why you're so mad at me. Also, I just want to chat. Like, what's up, dude? And so they sit down. It's really important, too, that as custom goes, you have to share names first before you can really talk to somebody. Like, you got to tell each other your names. That comes up in a couple more stories in this book. And so they switch names. He says, I'm Init. And she's like, okay, I'm Aponibolinayen. And he's like, okay, what's up? How'd you get here? And so she tells him the story, and then he tells her some stories of his work, and then they just kind of stay up all night talking and laughing, and they fall, like, madly in love, right? And so he was like, please don't leave and shimmy up that beetle-nut tree again. You can just, like, stay here. And she's like, okay. And so eventually they decide to get married because they've really grown attached. Yeah, they already live together. And every day he'd go to work, and when he'd come back home, she would cook him his dinner. And so eventually, but he also does his normal routine where he'd go to the river, he'd catch fish, and he'd bring it back. But every time he'd be like, hi, I caught this fish, she'd be like, no, it's fine, I already took care of it. And he's like, okay, but, like, why aren't you eating my fish? Also, where are you getting all this fish from? Like, I never see you go out and do anything. And so he one day, he's like, I want to watch you cook it. And she's like, okay. And so he watches her throw this stick into the pot, and he's like, why are you cooking that stick? And she's like, shut up. And she covers it. And then when they pull it back out, he sees that there's a bunch of fish in the pot, and there's also still the stick. Like, it hasn't shrunk or anything. And he's like, how are you doing that? And she's like, I'm magic. Like, what? I glow like a flame. Like, clearly not a regular mortal, dude. And so, one day, though, she started to get really curious. He tells her all these stories about how he travels around the world, but she's starting to get really curious. So one day, Aponibolinayen is like, hey, I want to go to work with you. And he's like, oh, no, that's literally impossible. And she's like, no, I really want to go with you. I can just, like, walk with you, and I just want to see what you do. And he's like, you literally cannot. I'm the sun. Like, here, I look normal, but when I go out and go to work, I'm the sun. It's too hot for you. And she's like, please. And every day she's begging him, and every day he's begging her, like, stop asking me to do this. You will literally die. And she's like, so, like, he's not, like, hiding it from her. He's like, oh, never go to work with me. He's telling her straight up, death. It's hot because I'm the sun. And so she's like, and so one day she shows up, he's about to go to work, and she shows up dressed to go to work with him, and he's like, stop it.
She's got, like, a little suit and a little briefcase and, like, a little sun hat on.
Yeah. She's got, like, a
sunglasses,
sunscreen on her nose. It's time. And she has all these blankets with her, and she's like, if it gets too bright and too hot, I'll just wrap myself up in these blankets and I'll protect myself from the sun. And I'm like, that's not how that works.
That's how you make a person burrito.
That's how you make yourself warm.
Yeah.
Appo. And so she does that, and he's, like, begging her, but he's like, eventually he's like, fine, but you're gonna die. And she's like, cool, I won't, though, because of all the blankets. And he's like, you idiot. And so he takes her with her, and at first it's okay, but towards, like, middle afternoon, it starts getting so hot that she starts, like, severely overheating. So he wraps her up in all these blankets, and he's like, I really hope this works. And she ends up melting and turning into oil. And he's like, okay. What? Yeah, she melts into oil. And so he takes a little jar and he puts her inside the jar, and then he wraps the jar up really tight in all these blankets, and he's like, okay, well, I hope this works. And he tosses her down to the earth. And so right over
What?
right over her town. So she's next to that river where she had been when she had been, picked up by the six-o'clock tree. And she lands next to this woman who is, like, washing stuff from the river. And so the woman hears this, like, thud near her, and she turns around and sees all these blankets, and she's like, whoa. And she unwraps the blankets, and she sees the most beautiful woman she's ever seen, right? Now she's, like, a person again, somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to explain to you how people work.
No, I mean,
the powers of transfiguration.
Yeah, I've turned into a bottle of oil like a dozen times or more,
and that's
so I'm
Tuesdays.
More than familiar.
So the woman, like, runs back to town, brings everybody back here. Aponibolinayen's parents are delighted to see her. They're like, we've been looking for you everywhere. Like, where were you? And she was like, actually, I have come from Pindayan, where enemies of our people kept me until I escaped. And they were like,
what?
No further questions, Your Honor. Welcome home. They throw this big party. After a few days, eventually, and this is also a theme throughout a lot of these stories, this happens a lot in Philippine folklore. I have no explanation. After a few days, she's like, my finger's itchy. And then it just keeps getting more and more itchy, and she's like, ow, it's so itchy. And so she just cannot reach this itch. So finally she goes to her mom, and she goes, can you take this needle and prick me in my finger? I don't want to do it, but, like, I'm so itchy. And her mom's like, you want me to prick you in your finger? And she's like, please, just, like, stab me. That's how itchy I am. And her mom's like, fine. And so she stabs her in the finger, and out pops a baby.
Ah! What?
Yeah. Again, this happens several times throughout this book.
How little is that baby?
It's a regular-sized baby.
How big is her finger?
They're regular-sized fingers. I can't explain to you. Anyway,
I'm
so
picturing,
she
like,
has this baby.
She pricks the finger.
Yeah.
And then there's a teeny tiny baby that inflates like a balloon and, like, floats off of her finger and into Apo's mother's arms.
Aww, baby.
Little baby balloon.
So,
also, when it fills up like a balloon, it's filling up with her blood from her finger.
Sure. It's, like, growing outwards.
And that's how you make a baby.
That's how I make a baby. Why we have so many weird little blood babies everywhere.
Blood babies!
Little bubbles.
Baby blood balloon.
Baby blood balloons. Baby blood balloons.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so every time they bathe the baby, they realize every time they give him a bath, he grows more. And so maybe he is tiny, but by the time they're, like, a couple days have passed, this kid's already, like, walking. And they're like, okay, so this is, like, a magic baby. Who's the dad? And she's like, don't worry about it. And they're like, we're all worried about it. We are all very concerned. So her parents are like, we have to figure out who this dad is. They say in the story we need to figure out who her husband is. I changed it because she said that she was with enemies. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So they decide to have this, like, ceremony for the child, and they decide to invite everybody. And they take these betel nuts, these golden betel nuts, and they oil them up. And that, for some reason, makes the betel nuts become sentient. And they all stand in front of them like a little army waiting for instructions. And they say, okay, go invite everybody to the ceremony. And they're like, you got it, boss. And they're like, what if they don't want to come? And they're like, if they don't want to come, threaten to grow on their knee. And they're like, oh, okay. So they go out and they tell everyone, like, you have to come to the ceremony. We got to see who the daddy is. And all the guests are like, sure. And if anybody's like, actually, I'm kind of busy, they're like, cool, I'm going to grow on your knee. And they're like, ew, what?
What is that? What?
No. And so they all come. But it becomes very obvious that none of them are the father. And so they go to this magic woman named Alokotan.
Siblings of Catan.
Yeah, who talks to spirits. And she says, basically she converses with the spirits, and she says, you invited everyone except for Ininit, the son. You need to go give him an invitation. And so they're like, okay. So they send the betel nuts up there. And the betel nuts are like, come down to this ceremony. And he's like, no, I can't. I'm the son. I'm busy. And they're like, we're going to grow on your head if you do not come. And he's like, fine, grow on my head. I don't fucking care. I'm not going to this weird party. Like, I'm the son. And so one of them jumps up on his head and it starts to grow. And eventually it gets so big that this guy can't lift his head anymore. And he's like, okay, get off my head. Go jump on the pig. And he's like, okay. So he jumps off and he jumps on the pig.
What pig?
There's a pig.
Okay.
This is the first I'm hearing about the pig too, Max.
Okay.
You're gonna have to keep up. So he's like, go jump on that pig over there. And so the pig
I thought it was like one of those like go take a hike or something, like go jump on a pig.
Nope, this is just there's a pig. And so the thing's like, all right, and so it jumps off and it jumps on this like completely innocent pig, and it grows and it grows and it grows, and eventually the pig is like, this sucks, and starts squealing all day and all night, and eventually it's like, okay, good God, I can't sleep, I can't do anything, and sleep is kind of important. I'm the son, so he's like, fine.
And this party's been going on for 4 days, and nobody's having a good time.
And so eventually he's like, get off the pig, I'll go. And so they're like, okay, great choice. See you later. And then they all leave. So when Init shows up, Aponibolinayen and her son run up to him. They're like, oh my God, you're here. And they're really excited to see him. And everyone's like, oh, okay, so that's the daddy. But when he starts to walk towards them, the closer he gets, the more they realize that he actually isn't really walking. And now he's completely round and he's made of stone. And they're like, what? And it makes a point to say that they are pissed at her for marrying a stone. They're like, you suck. You married a rock. You take off all your nice clothes and your nice bead. You have to live in rags and go live with that stone. And she's like, okay. And so they punish her for marrying a stone, which is really weird, by making her dress in rags. And they go back up to the son's house. And as soon as they get there, he transforms into a very handsome man again. And he's like, that sucked. And she's like, yeah, that was a terrible party.
That went on for a week.
Sorry, my parents were so terrible. And so eventually, though, he says, you know what? Your parents kind of had a point. I didn't really marry you in the best circumstances. I didn't pay the marriage fee, basically. Like, they have, like, a price that like a dowry. He's like, I didn't do any of the formal things. Like, you had a baby without me there. Like, it was all not great. Your parents do have a point. And so he's like, I want to make an honest woman of you, and I'm going to get your parents' blessing. And she's like, that's huge for me. Yes, thank you. That's what I want. And so they use, this is weird. He says, give me 1 moon, and I'm going to do this for you. So they use magic to make neighbors to work their fields. Like slaves. Like, they say neighbors. They're like, now we have neighbors. And the neighbors pound the rice and build a large spirit house, which is what they have to, like, fill with all of the dowry. It's like slaves. They're not neighbors. Valued
team members.
Yeah.
Unpaid team members who aren't allowed to leave.
Classic, the sun. So then they... Okay, I just looked down at my notes, and it says, then they oiled up the beetle nuts and sent them to summon all the relatives, which is what happened. But my freaking autocorrect said they oiled up the beetle butts.
All the beetle nuts came and just flashed their asses, and they were like, don't you want to hang out?
We know how to get them up to the sun's house.
Follow this caboose all the way to the party. Just a bunch of nuts twerking.
I can't. Oh, so they oiled up all those beetle nuts. They said basically they were like, if anybody says they don't want to come, threaten to grow on their knee. And so Aponibolinayen's dad is like, I'm not coming, I don't approve of this marriage. And they're like, we're gonna grow on your knees. And he's like, good God, fine. So he makes everybody wash their hair. And that's the thing. He makes everyone wash their hair, and then they all go up to the sun. They see that the sun has now turned into a super handsome dude. Then they all start to chew the magic beetle nuts. They're oiled up.
They're alive!
No, they chew them. And I looked this up.
I was really worried when you oil a nut and then you put it near a heat source. I was like, oh no, they're gonna be popcorn.
Oh, and they all turn into popcorn. Cute. So they oil up. They eat all these, like, magic beetle nuts.
Magic alive oiled up nuts.
As they
with
scream.
Stellar asses.
Like, perfect butt. So, I did look it up because I was like, this is weird that they're all eating them now, but apparently this is kind of a crisis now. 2021, this is a crisis where beetle nuts kind of have the same effects that caffeine has, right? Where they give you a jolt of energy. If you eat a ton of them, they can cause, like, all sorts of cancers. They cause, like, auditory and visual hallucinations sometimes, but it's, like, really dangerous. It's basically just poisoning your body. And they're illegal in many, many countries, but people are still, like, there's an addiction to them and stuff like that. So, like,
shit.
Yeah, but it seems to me, because this book was written in 1916, and I'll tell you, I don't know how, that this was a practice that people had been doing for a very long time. Right, so they chew on these betel nuts, and they suddenly, their eyes are opened, and they see that this handsome man is actually from their village. They're like, oh shit, he looks like those two people that lost their son all those years ago. So they bring those two people up, and the two people are like, that's our son. And they're like, wow. And so they are reunited with their son, who has, since he left, become the son, S-U-N.
Mm-hmm. Classic son-to-son transformation story.
This is not a good, there's no explanation in between there, but they're like, that's our son. They name him Aponibolinayen, and they pay the marriage.
That's not confusing.
Aponibolinayen. Well, Apo is an actual term. It's...
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
So, Aponibolinayen, they pay the marriage price, which is the spirit house that they built 9 times full of valuable jars, which I'm like, why are they paying the spirit, the price? They have all those slaves who are raising money for them. Anyway. And everyone rejoices. And so when everyone goes back to Earth, the couple goes down to live with them, and they all live happily ever after, which begs the question, who's the son now?
So what happened to all of those sun slaves?
They're up there. I guess maybe they're being the sun. I have no idea. But they go down and live on the Earth. Now, this story, and that's it. That's the story of Aponibolinayen, and Aponibolinayen. I cannot say these names for the life of me. Okay, so this book, Philippine Folktales, has a couple different versions of the story in it, and the names kind of change around. You get different sources of actually who she married. It's always the son. You get different versions of like how she met him, all these different things. And then later on, those two have adventures together. Except that there's one that I read where he gets like coerced and forced into marrying a star princess. And she takes him away, and she's like, I know you're married, but, like, you're my husband now. And she forces him to live up there with him, and he's like, I want to go home to my wife. Please. And every time he tries to escape, or if he's down on Earth too long with his wife, the star princess is like, I'm sending all the stars to eat you. And he's like, no. And then the stars keep coming down and, like, chomping at him, and he's like, I gotta go. It's really weird.
Sorry, my space wife is calling.
My space wife is calling.
And by calling, I mean sending star minions to chew my flesh.
Chomping at the bit. Okay, so Mabel Cook Cole, this woman who wrote these books, this is going to be kind of a repeat a little bit of what I complained about in the Sioux Tales, but she was born in 1880. And she died in 1977. She was a dancer and a singer. She was from, like, I think, Illinois. And she eventually married a man who was an ethnologist of the Field Museum of Natural History. And he traveled to the Philippines, like, took her with him. And they spent 4 years with, like, the indigenous tribes of the Philippines. And so this woman, she, began to specialize in the study of ancient man, and she studied the people of the Philippines, and she realized, like, all of the folk tales that I've been reading are in scientific texts, basically. Like, it's in, like, anthropology books and stuff like that, but they weren't, like, widely distributed. And she's like, I want to write them down, and I want to put them in a book. And so she made a couple different books, and this one, Philippine Folktales, are what she gathered from those people. She says that she put them down in print for posterity, but again, it begs the question of, like, she wasn't, like, paying the people who were telling her the stories. She didn't think anything of, like, she's taking their folktales and their legends, and I appreciate having a book like this, but it's that 1916, like, shady practice of, like, I'm a white woman living here, I am allowed to take these stories.
Yep.
Because, stories don't belong to anyone, except for the indigenous people that used these stories as, like, their creation myths and stuff.
Yeah.
It's also important to tell, because I didn't think to look up Mabel Cook Cole. I was hoping that this was going to be written by somebody Filipino. Again, it was a thing where I did tiny bits of research, and I was like, oh, this one looks like it's a thing, and then I ended up should have done more research on it. But she says in her preface, where she, like, talks about, like, how she was traveling with her husband and how she did this, she says a lot of really outdated terms because this was written in 1916.
Yep.
So the word savage is thrown around a bunch.
Oh,
yeah.
Lordy.
Anthropology in the early 1900s. She says it a ton. She specifically references different, like, how, just in general, how she doesn't seem to have a whole lot of respect, especially how we view respect in 2021 for the cultures that she was dealing with. Yeah. However, she is very thorough in the language and with the references, and she even has little footnotes where you can go to the back of the book and she will talk about how, like, this particular character, this myth is actually, you know, repeated in this myth, which you can see in other cultures. And this one actually, you know, comes to another. So she, like, makes connections that I do think are really valid. And she has a pronunciation guide that obviously I couldn't follow, but she has all this stuff. So she did a lot of the research.
Yeah. But linguistics was barely a thing back then either. So,
and she was doing it, like, she was clearly doing it on her own. Yeah. So there's a lot to like about this book. There's a lot to be very critical of. So with that being said, I was like, I need to find this story. Now that I've read it in the book that I already bought, I need to figure out this story. I want to find it from a Filipino source. So I looked it up, and I found something from Sirius Studio, which is a beautiful website. They're actually a branding and design agency, but they work with different, like, storytellers, it seems. And so somebody did write out The Sun and the Woman in Flames. I'm going to read you the paragraph really quick because they wrote out the entire story and they illustrated it. And this is what caught my eye. The illustrations are gorgeous. So actually, I'm pulling this up on the computer so Max can see, and I will push this stuff up. This is the website. Aww. And it's all orange and yellow, and it has the most beautiful illustrations ever. And this is a Filipino company.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And then it says at the bottom of this was done in 2020, so it's already passed, but it says, in honor of the indigenous Filipinos, Gunitan partnered with Pagasa to help support these areas that were affected by super typhoons in 2020. In exchange for donations or any amount of your choosing is a digital compilation of the library designed for mobile. So all of this stuff, there was a point in 2020 where you could buy this or donate, and they would just send you the digital file of this book. And they also made a zine of this entire little thing, and it's from it's a collaboration with a company called Bad Student, and I'm gonna plug their Instagram because I went and looked at it, and it's super cool. It's a Filipino company, and they made this entire illustrated version of this story into a risograph art zine, and they said, in light of the typhoon damage, they sustained 10% of the zine proceeds will be donated towards their recovery. So this was all back in 2020, which was really cool. So if you want to check them out, and I hope that you do, go to Instagram.com, and then their handle is _badstudent. So specifically _badstudent. And I'm going to link them in our Instagram as well. But yeah, so that's just like a fun little intro into some Filipino folklore, and know that Aponibolinayen and Aponipolitao are both figures that repeat, and they have adventures.
I love it.
It's just this beautiful woman in the sun.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Nice.
I like that it's just, like, the majority of their relationship is just them cooking for each other. That's it. That's my love language.
They're a food-based and talking-based relationship.
Aw. God, I love it.
And every once in a while, they chew on these magic little oiled-up beetle nuts.
Yeah. Just a circle with an S. God, that's nice.
Yeah.
I like that so much.
I hope you guys enjoyed it too, and that you have a wonderful rest of your week.
Yes.
And we'll be back next week.
With more sort of stories.
Yeah, that was sort of the story.
That was sort of the story.
Peace!
Yeah! BY gang!
Oh my god, BY gang. Okay, let's do a quick test. Everything seems fine right here.
Testes.
Whoa, testicles, breasticles, wallet, and watch. I don't think breasticles is part of that.
I don't know what that is.
Testicles? Somethingles. Breasticles.
Spectacles.
Wallet and spectacles. Testicles, spectacles, wallet, and where does breasticles come from?
Not a thing.
Are you sure?
I'm not a doctor, but I think if you got breasticles, you should see a doctor. Who isn't me, because I'm not a doctor.
Okay, well, rude.